This is an introduction to my history as a proponent and exponent of the free energy revolution. I worked for 9 years at the side of Bruce De Palma in both Southern California and the Australasian region on new energy technologies, largely centered around homopolar generator design and construction. We were able to demonstrate some anomalous behavior in these devices, and yet it was the theoretical underpinnings of that work that have led me today to feel that I'm ready to innovate machines that are even more efficient and self-sustaining, potentially. What are we talking about? We're talking about machines that incorporate variable inertia, higher orders of rotation, new ways of orienting magnetic fields such that they cancel one another out. Every magnetic field and every gyroscopic motion can be canceled inside the machine, thereby resulting in new force vectors, new concentrations of energy within a confined space that will very likely yield a self-running engine. And I'll have to tell you what's got me a little concerned about this, as it is a potentially destabilizing innovation, and I am not 100% confident that I alone have the technical know-how to manifest this. However, the basic design is something I'm ready to bring out to the world in an open source fashion, and I'm asking your help. Not only financial help, but also intellectual and social assistance in getting the word out that we have now reached the age of novel energy production, that we are not beholden to the fossil fuel interests any longer, with the likelihood of these machines coming into being now. There's nothing preventing a new energy revolution from coming about other than the courage to change the current paradigm, because that paradigm isn't serving us, and it will not serve future generations. We've made this plain in many ways to ourselves by seeing the severe limitations of the slash and burn disaster capitalism modality of building this world. And while we may have a greater degree of general prosperity right now than we have had in centuries, we are slowly eating our own tail. We are slowly fouling our own nest. And only non-polluting, self-sustaining, free energy technologies will be able to get us out of this mess. If we don't want to see the carrying capacity of the planet diminished and the well-being of our children diminished, then we are going to need to take the next step, which is to close the loop, which is to build the new energy paradigm from the grassroots up. And why do I say the grassroots? Is because I'm not planning to accept a privatized model for the evolution of these technologies and the dissemination of this knowledge into the world. I really believe that energy is a common pool resource. The planet itself is generating its own electricity. It's generating its own magnetic field, which provides us the most important ecosystem good and service of all, which is protecting us from the deadly cosmic rays of the sun and the charged particles that would otherwise cause genetic damage and make life impossible on this planet. So why aren't we paying for that? Well, because you can't privatize that sort of thing. Well, I do believe that a free energy machine that runs on its own surplus power is exactly the same kind of ecosystem service, and therefore should remain always a public good and not a private commodity. If you think about it, once a machine like this has begun operating, how can you even meter the energy coming out of a self-sustaining generator? You can't. You can only sell, if you choose to, the unit itself one time, and possibly some spare parts 100 years down the line if necessary. But again, this planned obsolescence mode of our society is not workable either, so we should engineer these machines, as we now can, to last at least 100 to 150 years without breaking down. That's the aim of this project. The designs will be made available to you, our patrons, and to the wider world as they are produced, and access to working models also made available to universities and to private research collectives, anyone who wishes to learn the basic rudiments of what we've discovered in the laboratory, free of charge. So what we're really looking for is to catalyze a new scientific paradigm and to grow a sustainable world out of that new concrescence of intelligence, that new birthing of awareness of cosmic power that rests just under the surface of our very awareness. Thank you for being part of this revolution. It's going to be a great time for us all to break free.